As we prepare to talk about running backs, we always say it's a war of attrition. And to that end, let's take a quick moment to appreciate two fallen soldiers, James Conner and Najee Harris, who will no longer be around from 2025. All right, but the show must go on. Look, you need help. We're here to figure out who is going to be in your lineup for week 4 at running back. We do have some must starts. These guys have to be in your lineup. Bijan Robinson, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs, Derrick Henry, James Cook, Josh Jacobs, and Devon Achane. Before we start with the first matchup, I have a surprising stat for you. Only 70% of our viewers are subscribed. That means there are plenty of you who are watching who have yet to hit that subscribe button. We definitely appreciate if you do it. If you appreciate what we're trying to do to help you win in fantasy, go ahead and click that button. We're on the road to 100K. Help us get there. So we begin with Thursday night. Just mentioned the Arizona Cardinals without their top running back, James Conner. So let's see who can fill the void. But let's start with Seattle because we didn't know exactly what this backfield was going to look like. We got some clarity because Zach Charbonnet didn't even play in week 3. What gives for week 4 now?
Well, the time we're filming this, we don't know if Zach Charbonnet is going to play, of course, or not. And we might not even know by the time this video goes out, to be honest. But did see in the estimated practice report today he was a full participant. So I guess we have to assume he will play, and it'll be back to business as usual before he was out, which means probably an annoying 50-50 here, even though Charbonnet's been bad. I'll say this, the Cardinals definitely not a smash matchup here, but Kenneth Walker, he was good 2 weeks ago. He was good last week. I think he still should be a solid start, even if Charbonnet plays. And if Charbonnet plays, I'm just going to sit him. Coming off an injury, short week, tough matchup, I'm just going to sit Charbonnet this week.
Ready to be aggravated again with the Seattle backfield, but I think you've got to feel good enough with Walker because of that touchdown upside. And that's what we saw last week. Let's be honest, his numbers weren't great on the ground. He still scored twice. He even scored the week before with Charbonnet involved. So I think solid is about right, but I don't think he'll move into the strong tier even if Charbonnet is out again based on this matchup. And then for Arizona, well, it's Trey Benson time. There's a lot of teams out there going to dump the fab to get him. I wonder if that's the right move, and then how does he respond here?
I think he'll be all right. Look, we know he's going to get the volume, right? It's not going to be 100% of the volume here. We will see some Amari DeMarcado, maybe some other guys from the practice squad sprinkled in, but he should be the lead back. We already know he was getting the bulk of the pass catching work in this offense, so it's not the best spot here against Seattle. They are at home, though, so I think he should at least be solid this week. And then any other Cardinals running back, no thanks.
Yeah, look, Benson was basically the guy, once Conner went out, he's going to be the guy here. So a guy like DeMarcado, whoever else, not worth your time. I think Benson gets the volume here. I just don't love this matchup in particular. Seattle's been really tough against the run, only allowing 3.16 yards per carry. They do give up a lot through the air to running backs, which is why I liked Kamara, but I liked him a bit too much last week. Didn't have a great game. I can't love Benson. I think he's a high upside flex, but that's it. But I will say that as far as that pass catching I just mentioned, look, Benson's going to get plenty of dump offs here in Seattle. If there is a weakness, that's it. So, if you look early on Underdog at the lines they got for Thursday night, they got Trey Benson at 3.5 receptions. He's got 7 catches over the last 2 games. I'm taking the higher for Trey Benson. Ride with me here, and you can pair this with the free pick you get as a new customer. It's Kyler Murray. It's a gimme pick. Just take Kyler Murray higher than nothing, basically. You pair with this Trey Benson pick or any pick you like, and that's a good way to start out on Underdog. Remember that if you're new to Underdog and you sign up using code ENDGAME, you get up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you sign up. Plus, you play $5, you get $50 in bonus funds along with that deposit match. So try it now. All right, let's move on to the Vikings at the Steelers. Minnesota now, it's down to just Jordan Mason, and that seemed to be just fine for them this past week.
Yeah, everything seemed to be just fine for the Vikings this past week. We were very high on Jordan Mason. Obviously not high enough, though, but I really like Jordan Mason this week. This isn't as good of a spot as he had last week, but it's pretty close. He's getting all the touches. He's got touchdown upside. And what's really good here is the Vikings have an elite defense, which means they're probably going to have the ball a lot. They're probably going to be winning. My only worry is these two teams play so slow. This could just be a very low-scoring, ugly game, but he's got touchdown upside. I think he's got to be a strong start this week.
Getting the touches, and I will say I don't think this game will be a slaughter like that last game. I don't know what Cincinnati forgot to show up completely. This is a road game for them. Steelers defense has been pretty bad, but more so against the pass. I still think Jordan Mason is very solid. I just don't feel like he's going to, go off like he did last week. Now for the Pittsburgh side, it's still mostly Jaylen Warren with an annoying sprinkle of Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, an annoying sprinkle, but I mean, that's kind of a lot of the backfields these days. You got to feel pretty good about Jaylen Warren. This guy's 5th in expected fantasy points over the last 2 games. My worry here, though, is this Vikings defense could just clamp down on this Steelers offense. Maybe not to the degree we saw against Cincinnati, but pretty close. And then the Steelers just do nothing offensively here. But he's getting the volume. He catches passes. I'm going to say solid, but low-end solid. And Kenneth Gainwell, no thank you.
Yeah, I'm just keeping Warren in the flex tier. Most weeks, that's just where he belongs. Nothing about this matchup really inspires me. His rushing efficiency hasn't been great. Like you said, he should be doing better, but averaging fewer than 4 yards per carry. So the pass catching gives him that floor, and that's it.
Do you want to get advice from Pierre and myself at the tip of your fingertips? Start sit, waiver wire, trades, and more? Well, you can do all of this and more on our new app, Draft Lane. We have the ability to view your roster, waivers, and more to give you the right feedback to make the perfect choice. Download Draft Lane from the App Store or Google Play, or use these handy QR codes. And first-time users can use code ENDGAME to get 10 free credits and get your questions answered today.
All right, Commanders at the Falcons, 2 very different backfields. There's really nothing to talk about in Atlanta except that you start Bijan Robinson, and what happened to Tyler Algier anyways? Just doesn't exist anymore. Now for Washington, we know what's going on here. It's definitely annoying. We have 3 different backs. They're all being used. So we got Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, of course, Chris Rodriguez Jr., who's still in the mix, and Jeremy McNichols, who somehow ripped off a long touchdown run last week.
Yeah, this is a frustrating backfield. I think we just have to accept the fact that, Bill is a rookie and it's going to take some time. And this is a tough matchup here. I mean, the Falcons do have a strong defensive front there, and we don't know how this is going to go. I mean, Chris Rodriguez started that game, got like the 5 first carries. Then it was like JCM got more work. Just really weird split right now, hard to predict. But I'm going to say Bill is an upside flex here. He can score. He's actually been good with the ball in his hands. Rodriguez, McNichols in this matchup, I'm not starting those guys.
Maybe there will be a week where all of a sudden we see Bill pull away, be the guy on passing downs, be that. It's not here yet. I don't think it's going to be this particular week. And I think without a touchdown, you're not going to really get much from Bill again. So that said, I think he is a flex. I think Chris Rodriguez is a flex too. He had more carries. He wasn't as good with them, but they might use his guy near the goal line as well. So I feel like both of them are basically touchdown-dependent flexes. McNichols, I mean, come on, that one run was pretty fluky. There's no way you should be starting him. The Chargers at the Giants. Once again, things have become a lot simplified in this game because we got 2 rookies that are leading the way and 2 injured veterans. Najee Harris is done, and Tyrone Tracy is at least done for a while. So we got Amari Hampton, and this is it. Is this takeover time?
It's got to be takeover time. I mean, who's taking touch? Like Hassan Haskins, Kamani Vidal? Nah, this is Omarion Hampton's second chance to show that he can be the guy, and he was very good, in relief of Najee in that game. I mean, this is a great spot for him against this Giants run defense. He's catching passes. I mean, how do you not start Omarion Hampton this week? He has to be a strong start.
Yeah, zero concerns about the volume. I mean, that's it. He started to look actually a little bit better last week. It's got to be Hampton's time. Against the Giants, this game script should definitely be in his favor. So yeah, fire him up. Strong start. Not quite there with Cam Scatterboot, but at the same time, look, it's his backfield as well. I know you were high on him in the preseason as well.
Yeah, he's showing me exactly everything I saw in him as a prospect. Elite vision, elite contact balance and tackle breaking, elite pass protection, and a good pass catcher. Like, everybody was just fascinated, like, he's slow. But he can do everything else you want an NFL running back to do, but he's slow. Like, okay, yeah, he's not going to rip off 50, 60-yard touchdowns, but you know what he's going to do? Break a bunch of tackles, be out there all the time, picking up, 8, 10 yards. Does a matchup even really matter for this guy? Like, it doesn't matter if they have an elite defense. He's just going to run through them anyways. This guy is like the Hulk, just running through people here. Can't feel great, though, because it is the Giants' offense. I mean, what's the upside? Solid start.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. It's the Giants. They could be running from behind here. Who knows how long Russ will last. You hope for Scadaboo's sake, basically, that Russ is in there because he's captain check down. We saw him get 6 catches last week on 8 targets as a running back. So if it's still Russ, that gives a super high floor to Cam Scadaboo. The ceiling, it keeps him as a solid player. That's about it. All right, now Titans at Texans. Nothing new about these backfields. Let's start with veteran for Tennessee, Tony Pollard. What do you expect on the road against a pretty tough matchup here?
I pretty much expect what we've seen all season. Like, he's going to get the volume. He's probably going to be fairly effective with the volume. Maybe like last week, he scores. Maybe he doesn't. This isn't a great matchup. This offense, like, I'm just taking the L on Cam Ward, okay? Maybe it'll happen eventually like Caleb Williams, but I don't think it's going to be this year. This guy doesn't even look close to me. I'm taking the humongous L here. Tony Pollard, high upside flex. He could score, but if he doesn't, then he's not going to give you a ton.
The guy who really should be taking the L is Brian Callahan. But anyways, okay, so Tennessee's offense is not great, but I'm looking at game script here. Houston does have a good defense, but they have a horrible offense. Somehow their offense is worse than Tennessee's. They rank 32nd in points scored. They're going to be able to run the ball here in Tennessee, so I think this is a good thing for Pollard. Again, capped by his situation, but at least for one more week in this matchup before Tyjae Spears enters the mix again, I think Pollard is solid. And big part of the reason why Houston is last in points scored is their starting running back is still Nick Chubb. You feel like Woody Marks gets a little bit more work here, or does it really matter?
I'm not sure it really matters. I think he will. He's looked pretty good, in his limited touches here, but I don't think it matters. I'm not starting any Houston Texans running back at the moment.
No, I think that's the move here. Even if Marks does maybe even take over, and this offense is just a huge mess. Eagles taking on the Bucs. Despite last week, still think it's a pretty solid decision to keep Saquon Barkley in your lineup. It's still a solid decision to start Bucky Irving. I mean, let's face it, the efficiency, it's not only not as good as last year, it's nowhere near last year. He's averaging now 3.1 yards per carry. How do you go from 4.9 to 3.1 in terms of rushing average?
Well, one way is you are missing 3 offensive linemen, but it sounds like they could get Tristan Wirfs back this week, which is huge. But the other way is, because we talked about it all off season, efficiency is very not sticky year over year. And look, Bucky Irving was like a tackle-breaking machine last year. It's hard to expect a guy to be that good year after year. We're talking like elite efficiency. That being said, the guy had 25 carries last week. He catches passes. Yeah, it's a tough matchup here, but the volume is so good, and if Wirfs is back this week, that helps. He's still got to be a strong start.
Well, they're going to need him to do something, especially if Mike Evans is out. Chris Godwin may or may not come back, but still, they're hurting at wide receiver as well. My concern is this is a really good front seven of the Eagles. As we know, could they get scripted out here if the Eagles decide to actually score early this time? I don't know. I know the volume's there. He's still a good running back. I think I got to move Bucky down to solid. I'm still starting him for the most part. I just can't feel as good anymore about him. Now let's talk Panthers at Patriots. I wonder if we'll see any sort of a changing of the guard here in New England. Well, first let's talk Carolina. Okay, this is more like it. Winning big, winning huge, but I still don't feel like Chuba was a big part of the offense.
Well, he was a big part of the offense, but he, did get vultured by Rico Dowdle at the goal line. But I thought Chuba looked pretty good, actually. I was worried about Chuba in this matchup against the Falcons, and he actually ran the ball pretty well. He's still the guy here. I'm not worried about Rico Dowdle or anything. But I will say, this is actually a tougher matchup. The Pats are actually better against the run than even the Falcons are. But that said, he's getting the volume. He catches passes. Not worried about Rico stealing a touchdown here. I'm going to say solid, but like lower end solid this week.
I'm there, but I'm actually going to go more like high-end flex. A little bit worried, getting vulture at the goal line happens, right? Every once in a while. I don't think it's going to continue to happen. It's not like Rico profiles at a goal line back. I'm just worried that we haven't seen a really big game from Chuba, and I wonder if we're going to. And it's on the road. New England, a pretty good run defense, like you just said. So, again, I'm like, where's the upside here? I feel like Chuba is solid enough, but I wouldn't mind if you have a better option at running back if you go somewhere else. All right, now this will be fun. What's going to happen with this New England backfield? I mean, look, it almost feels like it was inevitable, right? Ramondre put the ball on the ground at the goal line. I mean, is he done here?
I doubt he's done. I mean, come on. Like we thought he was done a couple weeks ago, and then he took over the backfield again. This is frustrating. This is one of the most frustrating backfields. I mean, everything went perfectly for TreVeyon Henderson last week, right? Ramondre fumbled at the goal line, then Antonio Gibson fumbled, and then they gave Henderson the ball a bunch, but he didn't really do a ton with it. Who knows what's going to happen here? I mean, this is the Panthers. You're like, you want to start a running back here, but I don't know which one to start. I guess I will say you could flex TreVeyon Henderson because he does have that pass catching ability, does have that big play ability. That's probably as high as I can go right now. And Ramondre Stevenson, no, I'm not going to start Ramondre this week.
I think that we are going to see more Henderson, but we're not going to see all Henderson. I think the other question it's fair to ask is he ready, right, for this responsibility to shoulder the load, to do something with the ball? I mean, I hope we get to see, but at the very least, I think he is flex worthy, and Ramondre not this week. The Saints this week are going to take on the Bills in Buffalo, and so, I mean, how can you not start James Cook, right? This is the Saints. You keep him in your lineup. Do you keep Alvin Kamara in your lineup here on the road in Buffalo?
Yeah, I think you pretty much have to. Like the Bills have been getting shredded on the ground this year. I know the Dolphins didn't have a huge rushing game against them, but the Dolphins didn't have a huge anything game against them. But I mean, even Ollie Gordon had some nice runs against them. I think Alvin Kamara will be fine. He's still getting the volume. The pass catching, we don't know, right? Week 1 didn't get a lot. Week 3 didn't get a lot. Week 2 he did get a lot. Who knows? But it's the Bills. Not a terrible matchup. He's solid.
There's a road game that you figure where the Saints would get run out of the building. It was this week, not last week in Seattle. They could just do it again here. Kamara's fine. Too far last week. He's going to be involved. The volume is there, etc. He is solid. But just know there are definitely limitations based on the way this New Orleans offense is operating. The Browns coming off their upset victory now. Try to do it in Detroit here when they face the Lions. We'll see how that goes. It is nice to see that the Browns only have one running back worth talking about. It's Quinshon Judkins, who is looking like a beast, honestly.
He is looking like a beast, man. You got to feel good if you stashed him, drafted him, held him, whatever. You got to be feeling good right now. Lions defense, that run defense doesn't scare me at all. This guy looks good. He's getting like you said, all the run here. Yeah, you got to feel good. Solid start, but very high-end solid. Borderline strong start, honestly.
Did not think that Judkins would be the best rookie running back from this group already, especially not even having played, not even having practiced with this team. How did this happen? He must be a beast, honestly. The situation is not good, yet somehow he's averaging 5.5 yards per carry. Already mentioned in the waiver wire video. He's got the most rushing yards over expectation out of all rookie running backs. I mean, I almost don't care about the matchup here. He's at the very least a solid start, and once he actually gets a favorable matchup, he might get into the strong category. Now, on the flip side, we say Monty's always solid, but can he be this week against this Browns defense that basically just shut down Josh Jacobs?
Yeah, I mean, they've shut down everybody. This is a tough spot, but we know Monty can always score, so I think that keeps him in the flex conversation, but risky flex this week.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland is legit, as we saw, allowing 2.25 yards per carry to running backs. Gibbs, we're still going to say must start because he's going to catch passes. He's got that explosive ability. It's still Detroit at home. Monty, I don't think you have to start, but he is at least worth a flex. Next up, we got the Jaguars at the 49ers. CMC still hanging in there. Keep him in. All right, now the Jags. It's Travis Etienne with a little bit of Bashal Tutin. Do you feel like we see any change here and you're still just as confident about Travis Etienne?
I can't be as confident this week because it's the 49ers. And I know they lost Nick Bosa for the season, but this is still a very good defense. Like their young defensive linemen are playing great. So this is not a great spot for Etienne here. And the Jags offense, man, oh my goodness. What is going on here with Jacksonville? So I'm going to say solid, but I'm going to say risky solid this week. I mean, he's getting the volume, but could be another game like last week. And then Tootin, risky flex. Yes, he could keep scoring, but if he doesn't, you're probably going to regret starting him.
You know, I feel like you can't downgrade these guys too much, even in a tough road game, because they've got that home run hitting ability. I mean, Tootin's speed we already know about, so I think he stays in the flex category most weeks, including this week. He could always pop off a touchdown run for you, and same thing with Etienne. I mean, there are some games he will look bad, and the efficiency won't be there, but that big playability makes up for it, so I'll keep him as solid as well. Now we got Colts at Rams. JT is just looking like a workhorse. It's good to see. Now, Kyren is not exactly workhorse status anymore. Kyren Williams, that is, because Blake Corum is a factor, but I don't think it's enough of a factor here that we're going to switch these guys yet or anything like that.
No, we're long ways from that. I mean, yeah, it's still Kyron's backfield for the most part, and this matchup against the Colts certainly does not scare me off Kyren here. Can't get too excited because Corum is kind of lurking, kind of chipping away, but you know, you got to still, we saw last week, Kyren got the touchdown, so, you know, everything was right in the world again. I'm not scared of this matchup, still solid here. Corum, too soon. This is like touchdown or bust right now.
Yeah, despite the efficiency, again, very small sample size here. And the thing is, Kyren, as you saw, get that touchdown through the air. Blake Corum is not catching passes, like, at all. Right? He didn't have any receptions last week, only one all year. He does not have standalone value. As I mentioned, he's a waiver wire stash. He is a handcuff, but you don't start him, and you still start Kyren Williams for the most part. All right, now we got the Bears at the Raiders. You know, these defenses feel like they are made for each other so that the offenses can go off. But man, these running games are pretty rough. So what's going to give here? Let's start with the Bears. I don't know if we can use the term running game with a straight face here. I got DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monaghan in the mix. They're putting DJ Moore in the backfield. This kind of reeks of desperation for me.
Definitely reeks of desperation. And look, the Raiders are not a great run defense, but they're not even as bad as the Cowboys. And he still was like so ineffective here, but he catches passes. He is still the guy for now, at least. But I can't get too excited here. He's just a flex. Monaghan, still too soon.
Yeah, I'm just going to say with Swift, I'm going to give it maybe another week, but it feels like he's on the verge of losing his job. Let's face it, Kyle Monaghan, you know, maybe he can do something. This guy's a 7th round pick. He's getting touches really only because DeAndre Swift has been this bad, and I don't feel like it's DJ Moore like forcing his way into getting touches. Maybe it's to kind of keep him happy. I really feel it's just like they're trying to manufacture a running game. So only because it's the Raiders, I'll say Swift could be a flex, but I'm ready to pull the plug here pretty soon, and I don't think Monaghan is interesting enough to start anyways. Now for the Raiders, what about Ashton Genty? A little bit better last week, but is it enough?
Well, if you drafted this guy in the first or second round, it's certainly not even close to enough so far. But I will say this is a good matchup. Look, Javonte was ripping off big runs against them, and I don't know what Brian Schottenheimer is doing. They're down at the 1 yard line, you know, and he throws it 4 straight times when Javonte is unstoppable. Just give Javonte the ball. He's going to score a touchdown. This defense cannot stop the run. They're allowing the highest yards before contact per attempt of any defense in the NFL right now. Is that enough to hide the terrible Raiders offensive line, though? We shall see. I will say, Commanders an underrated front. They shut down Josh Jacobs a couple weeks ago. That was not an easy matchup last week. Think Genty will be better. Can't get too excited here, but it is a good matchup. I'm going to say solid.
Yeah, the matchup keeps him in the solid range. I think, you know, this is not Genty. We really underestimated maybe how bad this Raiders offensive line is. It's pretty rough here, and so that's why he's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage pretty frequently. Maybe this is the solution here, is face a defense like the Bears. So still solid. Can't expect that this is a huge game, but at the same time, he does have that explosive ability as well. Maybe we finally see it at the NFL level. All right, let's talk Ravens at Chiefs. Should be a good game. You don't doubt the king. You keep King Henry in there. I have many doubts about the Chiefs' supposed running game. Isaiah Pacheco didn't do himself any favors running backwards. That seems to be his highlight of the season. Technically, he did look a little better on paper, but is this enough?
No, I'm staying away from this backfield. I mean, Kareem Hunt got the goal line score. Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, Andy Reid was like complimenting the fact that he ran for 4.5 yards per carry. Like, that's where we're at. Like, oh, hey, great job. Like, oh, no, thank you.
This whole offense, I don't even just mean the running game. This whole offense looks kind of lost. This is really weird getting used to this Chiefs offense. But I know I don't want any part of the running game. Yeah, I don't really care here. Just sit them both. Packers and Cowboys here. All right. Despite last week, you're still starting Josh Jacobs. And look, for the Cowboys, Javonte Williams didn't have a big game, but like you said, maybe he should have, right? If they knew what they were doing as far as play calling. So you still got Javonte, but now facing this tough Packers front.
Yeah, this is a much tougher matchup here, but man, Javonte has looked so good all year. I don't think you can sit him just because of this matchup. Can't feel as good as we felt last week, but still, he's getting the volume. I'm not worried about Miles Sanders here. He's looked good. He catches passes. No CeeDee Lamb. They might need him more in the passing game. I'm still going to keep him as solid.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I mean, the big key here is no CD. Against the Packers, they're going to need to establish the run, at least try their hardest. So going to keep Javonte in the solid tier as well because, yeah, they need him. They're going to need him. I don't think they need Miles Sanders. And then we're back to 2 Monday night games this week for still unexplained reasons. So we got the Jets at the Dolphins. Another primetime game, unfortunately, for Miami. You still start Devon Achane. I mean, these guys probably going to lead the team in receiving by the year's end. All right, now for the Jets, you know, it's Breece Hall leading the way, and then Braylon Allen is still kind of lurking around here. How do you feel about them against this Miami defense?
Yeah, why is Miami getting so many primetime games? What are we doing, NFL? I'll say this. I'm a little nervous right now. Like, we saw that this was not Breece Hall dominating the touches. I don't know if that was because it was Tyrod Taylor. I don't know if that we're just finally seeing like all the talk of the offseason of this being a committee, but it was very close in week 3 here. It's the Dolphins, though. This is going to be the tough one all week because on the one hand, you're like, it's the Dolphins. But on the other hand, you're like, is this a committee again? I'm going to say Breece solid, but like risky solid, even in a good matchup because I'm very worried about the touches here. Braylon Allen, I'll say a risky flex because, again, it is the Dolphins. But, again, I'm not really sure how the touches are going to go this week.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying here, but I mean, look, this could be another big Breece game. Part of the question is Justin Fields going to come back? We still don't know. Look, Breece Hall, I think I'm going to put him in the higher end of the solid range. I can't go too far. I'm not going to call him a boom or anything like that, right? We know there's risk here, how many touches he even gets, but this could be a big game against Miami, a far less physical defensive line compared to, let's say, Tampa, who had Vita Vea. And as far as Braylon Allen, I just don't think there's enough here. He's too touchdown dependent. We're not into bye weeks yet. You shouldn't need him. I'm going to say sit. And as far as Miami, you know, I guess we should talk Ollie Gordon because he did score, but also he's getting more involved here. Do you feel like there's a 1B situation here? Or was that just kind of a fluke last week?
No, I do think we might see, you know, a decent amount of Ollie Gordon. I mean, they were talking about how they wanted to start getting them more involved, but I don't know if it's enough against this Jets defense. I mean, you could flex him. It's very risky. He could score, but he could do nothing.
Yeah, well, I can't feel much better about Gordon than, say, Braylon Allen. So I'll say, again, you shouldn't need a guy like that unless you're in a very deep league. So encouraged by his usage, let's say if you have him stashed, but I'm not starting him. And then the final game of week 4, we're going to have the Bengals at the Broncos. Arguably, no running back was worse than Chase Brown last week. Yeah, this one was really rough. I mean, look, how do you lose yards on more carries than you gain? So, look, I know you talk about the Bengals. We're panicked about everything Cincinnati after last week, but are you giving him the benefit of the doubt?
I'm not, because here's why. Like, even look at the 2 games with Joe Burrow this year. His efficiency has been really bad. Like, the offensive line somehow looks worse than it was last year, if that's even possible. Now they're going to go against this Broncos defense. Are they going? This could be the same as last week. This could be a game where they can do nothing on offense and are just getting shellacked by the Broncos. I mean, I can't flex. He's a flex, but that's it. I can't put him any higher than a flex. If you have better options, totally fine benching Chase Brown this week.
I mean, I get it, right? Being nervous here. I will say, that the Denver defense is pretty tough, more so in terms of pass rush. I've got to think Zach Taylor, seeing how Jake Browning responded, I'm going to try to give my running back the ball, but also through the air. I really feel like this is a game where we see Chase Brown a lot as a receiver here. Don't forget also Samaje Perine got banged up last week. That just means more reps for Brown. I'm still going to keep him as a solid, but I'm prepared to be fully disappointed again. Nothing disappointing about J.K. Dobbins. I mean, he has looked really good. Didn't get a lot of run, still had a nice fantasy day last week against his old team, and now gets the Bengals.
Yeah, you got to feel good here going up against the Bengals. Looks good. Scoring touchdowns, catching enough passes. I just talked about it. This could be a game kind of like what we saw last week where the Broncos are easily in control, just running the football. Solid, but very solid start this week. And then rookie RJ Harvey, still too soon.
I'm going to put Dobbins as a strong start. He only got 11 carries last week. He'll get more this time around. I think that for now, he's a guy you just keep in your lineup because RJ Harvey is not involved. I do think it's going to change. Look, I'm not dropping Harvey. I'm keeping him stashed. It'll change eventually, but for now, just keep rolling Dobbins out there. All right, that's everything you need to know about running back for week 4. We're going to keep you covered at every position, help you win. So check out the playlist right here for everything you need.